Awesome. I guess we are live. Welcome, Pooja, to this exclusive live session. And it's an honor to have you here. It's the first time we are talking publicly with someone from LinkedIn, and LinkedIn being Pepper Content's one of the most priority using platform. So it's an absolute delight talking to you about creators, content creation, marketing. So, Pooja, I'll just give a quick intro before I hand over the stage to Pooja. Pooja is the APAC head of creator management at LinkedIn. She works out of Singapore. And yeah, Pooja, to you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Yash. Thanks for the introduction. And it's wonderful to be talking to you and also your Pepper content community. So, thanks to the audience that took time to join us. So like Yash said, I lead the creator management team in Asia Pacific based out of Singapore. India is a huge priority market for us. We have 92 million members. On LinkedIn in India, and one of our fastest growing markets. And creators have always been the lifeblood of the LinkedIn ecosystem, and we are seeing that grow considerably in India. So, really excited about the conversation today with Yash on this.
Great. So before I dive into questions and before I ask people, our audience to ask questions, would like to do a quick tech check. Can everyone hear us clearly? Can see us clearly? If yes, please drop a thumbs up or a yes in the chat so that we'll know. It's weird that there's a 30-second lag, so it gets awkward between me waiting for comments during every live session.
We'll wait for them to respond.
Okay, yes, yes, I'm seeing a couple of yeses in the chat finally.
It's great.
Yes, thank you, Chandra. Thank you, Mansi. Thank you, Abhijit. Thank you, Devita. Great, great. Okay, so I'm not sure if people are aware, but Pooja has been with LinkedIn since over 10 years, and it's a phenomenal journey. Um, you were in Mumbai, then you are now leading creator management in Singapore. So, Pooja, how has the journey been? And I know it's difficult to summarize all the 10 years in a couple of sentences, but how has the journey been and what are you currently doing to set the context with our audience?
Sure. So, exactly like Yash said, 10 years. And when I say 10 years, when I say it's a decade, it feels even more powerful. And also, a significant portion of my career has been at LinkedIn. And the most wonderful thing about it has been that every time I've got an opportunity to contribute to LinkedIn's vision, to do something new. So, I started my career in India as one of the first marketers in the country, and then moved to Singapore with an APAC role. And I would say majority of my time I spent in the marketing team. So I've done everything in marketing, from field marketing to content to digital to social, demand generation, growth marketing. So just been lucky to get different opportunities so that I can grow as a holistic growth marketing leader. And then in February this year, this opportunity came, which is to lead the creator management team. And I was extremely excited about this opportunity because it takes our vision of creating economic opportunity for every member of the global workforce forward. So, in this team, I manage a group of very enterprising content and social media experts who are working with creators every day, helping to drive impact, for their communities and to build meaningful professional conversations on the platform. So, I'd love Yash to talk to you more about that. But to summarize, the journey has been fantastic. I have learned so much in the last 10 years, and not only as a marketing professional or someone who understands and grows in the field of content, but also I would say as a strong professional, as a strong leader. I think I'm indebted to LinkedIn to teach me the skills needed to grow teams, build teams, and become an impactful leader.
Awesome, awesome. Everyone who's joined us late or might not know exactly what we're going to talk about here today, let me just set a quick context. Today, we're going to talk to Pooja about the growing creator ecosystem on LinkedIn. And Pooja, as we also wrote in the description of this live session, a creator or an influencer was largely associated with YouTube or Instagram until I guess 2017, 2018, when LinkedIn also gained a lot of popularity. And today we see people specially creating content only on LinkedIn. And we have celebrities like Sunil Shetty joining LinkedIn and talking about his entrepreneurial journey. So it's amazing to see how it has become such a prominent platform for creators. And so, how would you define LinkedIn, and how do you define LinkedIn's journey to becoming a very important platform for creators?
So, Yash, creation on LinkedIn is not about entertainment. It's about how your content, your stories, your learnings, and your knowledge can help someone else, can help your community build skills, become better at their jobs, get a new perspective, or get inspired. So, I would say that is the core of creation on LinkedIn. And for us, our aim has always been that members come on LinkedIn to advance their careers. They're thinking of how they can build skills, how they can connect, how they can expand their network, how they can build their brand. So creators sit really well in that ecosystem to drive that value. And for us, that is core. Professional, meaningful conversations that can help build engaged communities. So that is where I would say LinkedIn is in a very unique space. So at LinkedIn, when as a marketer, when I come on LinkedIn, I can follow CMOs, the biggest CMOs of the biggest brands in the world who are active on the platform, sharing their perspectives. Similarly, if you're an engineer, you can come and follow leaders, top voices, creators who are creating content in your field. So that is something that we are building towards because we believe that all the knowledge of the world is in the minds and hearts of people. And how do we bring it out there so that we fulfill the vision of creating economic opportunity for every member of the global workforce. So that is core to everything that we do when we're building the creator ecosystem.
Right, and I liked how you mentioned that it is not for the entertainment, and yeah, and that sets LinkedIn apart a lot, because when I'm on other platforms and versus when I'm on LinkedIn, there's a lot of there's a difference in quality as well, which I like. And when we talk about building a personal brand on LinkedIn, how do you see creators today, as in the past, today, and in the future, going about creating a personal brand on LinkedIn? We know a lot of people who have grown in their career as well as in their personal career thanks to LinkedIn. So, how do you see that happening?
Yeah, so a lot of people ask me, oh, how do I build a personal brand? I always go back to, I mean, being in the marketing field, and I've also done an MBA in marketing. I've just been lucky to study about branding and marketing and also experienced it. So I will go back to just the definition of brand, like starting there. So a brand is nothing but what you want people to think and feel about you. So if we keep that in mind of how products and companies build their brands, if we take that learning in mind and translate it to personal brand, I think the first thing as you start on that journey of building your personal brand is, what is it that people will talk about you when you're not in the room? So what is it that they associate you with? So I would say answering that first for yourself before you actually put in your efforts in terms of on LinkedIn creating your profile, start posting content, engaging with other creators, building your community. I think before you do all of that, I think it's very important to answer the question is, what do you stand for? What are the values that you embody? What do you want to be known for? So, for example, if you want to be known as an impactful leader who builds great, engaging, high performance teams, that's a great way to summarize how you want to build what does your personal brand stand for? Or you want to build your personal brand in a way that says that you are one of the topmost experts in the field of data science, or you are someone who is an excellent copywriter, and people will engage with you, work with you because you can deliver results when it comes to excellent copywriting. So these are just some examples, but I think defining that is important because based on that, like that is the foundation, I would say. And based on that, then you can take steps of when you're building a link, like to start with building a LinkedIn profile. What are the things that you want to highlight? What is your elevator pitch? We also have this new feature on your profile, which is the video, the cover story video. So how do you actually use that to convey your personal brand? So we have all these avenues available where you can make your brand shine, so that when people land on your profile or send you a connection request, or you're sending a connection request, they know what do you stand for, and why they should engage with you. So I would say that is the beginning, and then creating content is the second step of that. So if you go back to what I said, that if you want to be known as an excellent copywriter or an excellent content marketer, so I think that is where then you start creating content in that field. You share case studies, you share examples, you share examples from the industry on why you think this is is a very excellent example of a content marketing asset, like an ebook or a video. So I would say, remember, I would advise the audience to remember these two things, as to first defining what your personal brand stands for, and then how do you make it shine through your profile on LinkedIn, and also then the kind of content that you're creating on LinkedIn.
Right. And I see LinkedIn doing a lot of things for creators also these days. There are several programs which I'll talk about in a second, but I just wanted to point out like you mentioned, the video, um, or the option to add pronouns, and the option to add your name's pronunciation in the profile as well, and the latest update, that was the creator mode, turning on the creator mode. All these small things, I think, just adds on to the whole experience of being a creator on LinkedIn, and I personally love that. And when it comes to programs, there's a LinkedIn accelerator program, creator accelerator program, and several other things and campaigns that LinkedIn has come up with. Can you please shed some light on it for all our creator audiences?
Yeah, definitely. Globally, there has been a concentrated effort and investment from LinkedIn. So we announced a $25 million investment globally in creators on LinkedIn, and we want to support and grow that ecosystem. And this is being manifested through different ways. So the first thing, in fact, Yash, you spoke about, are the different products and features that we are
Hmm.
launching. So something as simple as you put on the creator mode, and then you get access to so many different formats in which you can create content. So if you are someone who wants to tell stories through the written word, then you can post articles, text posts, you can launch newsletters. But if you're someone who prefers video as a medium to let your content shine, I think we have videos, we have live events like this event that we are doing here, and then audio events if you prefer to engage with your community in the audio format. So our goal continues to be to provide a variety and a diversity of formats, so that whatever members on LinkedIn feel that they are comfortable with, they can adapt, and then they can also experiment with different formats. So the first pillar is product investment. So all these new launches that we're doing. The second leg to it is the our team, like my team, which is globally the community management team, and we are a group of creator managers, and we are supporting creators through different avenues and programs. And in fact, I would request Kunal from the Pepper Content team to share a link with our audience today. The audience, like all of you, if you aspire to get support from LinkedIn, if you aspire to take your creation journey on LinkedIn to the next level, feel free to contact us, and we can figure out what is the right support model for you. So Kunal, request if you can share that link. So I would say that is the second pillar. And the third pillar are very special initiatives and programs like the Creator Accelerator program, which we just completed uh, uh, 2 weeks back. And people who've been following the LinkedIn for Creators page, or just following creators who are part of the program, may have seen the content that they were sharing. And I was really excited about just the diversity of content that we saw. In fact, I saw Riddhi, I think she's registered for this event as well. And I posted about the content that she shares. She is empowering women to get into entrepreneurship. So she shares content around that. And then Palak, another creator from the CAP Creator Accelerator program, she creates very engaging, informative, educational videos about trends in the field of e-commerce and business and marketing. So the Creator Accelerator program is that investment from us in coaching, education, and supporting creators who pitch to us ideas, and based on their ideas, we selected them 200 in India, and they went through that 10-week program, getting coaching, education, interaction with a lot of mentors, and they experimented with a lot of content. And one thing that everybody shared with us is consistency. That is key. So you may aspire to grow as a creator in a certain niche or field and be known for something. I would say consistency is the key to reach to that level. So that was, I think, one of the biggest learnings that even I had when I interacted with the creators as part of the program.
Great. Thank you so much, Pooja, for sharing about the initiative, and thank you, Kunal, for sharing the link. People in the chat, people who are watching this, if you have any questions regarding how you can enroll yourself into one of many such programs by LinkedIn, you can check out the link or just follow LinkedIn on LinkedIn. And in general, if you have any questions around creator economy, how to grow on LinkedIn as a creator, or content creation in general, please feel free to drop them in the chat, and we'll have a 10-minute live Q&A session towards the end. So please feel free to drop your questions in the chat. So yeah, Pooja, moving on to my next question, and that is the evolution of content on LinkedIn. So I think it's been more than 4 or 5 years that I've started regularly posting and viewing content on LinkedIn, and I've seen a drastic change from basic facts and updates to more of a storytelling way of sharing content. People are spending 2 to 3 hours writing, making the perfect hook, and then writing on one lines, and then having a CTA towards the end, like the perfect way of how you would like to engage with content. And the latest edition of the funny reaction by LinkedIn, it kind of says that LinkedIn is open to okay memes and videos that might give you a laugh, that be it in any niche. So how do you think the content has evolved on this platform?
Yeah, I think the evolution has been very organic, especially in the last 2 years with the pandemic, everybody working from home and just lives blurred between personal and professional. Like I was working from home, 1 hour I'm taking a meeting, in the next hour I'm taking care of my newborn baby. And all everybody was going through, people going back home and living with their parents. So different things happen. So I think that coexistence of personal and professional life just came together, started converging even more. And I would say that's where these kind of stories also started, people started sharing that on LinkedIn and so on. So I think it happened very organically. Our goal, though, is that when a member is coming to LinkedIn, they should feel that is the best use of their time when it comes to advancing in their careers. Are they learning something new? Are they able to build a skill? Are they able to connect to someone? Are they able to join a conversation and take it forward? So that is always core to us. And whatever investments that we are doing, whatever creators we work with will all align to that. And when it comes to the funny reaction, we also get a lot of feedback from our members on what they want to see on the platform. And humor is a part of our lives. And even at the workplace, when we're interacting with colleagues, we're interacting with our teams, humor is an integral part of our lives. So at the workplace, just being authentic about your emotions, I would say that is important. And I would say that is where we are moving towards, the content being very authentic, being very real. But at the same time, like I said, it's not about entertainment, it's about value. So I would say another example of a creator who I really admire is Sanjeev. And the audience can check him out on LinkedIn, and he creates very humorous videos about funny things that happen at the workplace. So typical things, I would say, like typical things marketers says, typical things product managers say. It is something when you see it, oh my god, like you relate to it because that happens every day in the workplace, and that's where you would be prompted to click on the funny reaction. So content like that, which is contextualized for the professional world, around the world of work, but also is authentic, and also brings in humor, because humor is part of our lives, it's part of our workplace and well, and that's the fun of going and working as part of a company and a team.
Uh, when it comes to humorous content, I really love Rahul Subramanian's content, and he's one of the comedians. I think he's the only comedian who's very active on LinkedIn. while rest of the comedians choose other platforms and video as a format. But I really love
I would say, Yash, I think I would say, sorry, go ahead.
how Rahul has used text as a medium on LinkedIn to write jokes about corporate life and all. Yeah, you were
Yeah,
saying?
exactly. I would also recommend Papa CJ. He was part of the Creator
Oh
Accelerator
yes,
program,
yes, yes, yes.
and he also speaks about, like, he's stand-up comedian, but how he
Mm.
relates to business, and I really like appreciate his content. So another recommendation for people to follow.
Yeah, great. Before we move on to audience Q&A, I have one, two last questions for you, Pooja. One being, so LinkedIn has a lot of content formats, like we were talking about earlier. Which of the formats do you think are preferred more by people and by you personally? Like, which of the content formats would you do you personally engage with more
I
on
would
a
say
day-to-day
there
basis?
is no one size fits all in this. And that's why, like I shared before, we are investing in different formats, because we want to make sure that from a creator perspective, which format, that they feel most comfortable with, or they want to expand into to tell their stories. Whereas on the member side as well, giving them a variety of formats that they can consume. So I would never put emphasis first on the format. I think it always goes back to classic as to what is the key message you want to drive, how is it going to drive value for your community, and how are you going to bring that story to life. So some people are able to bring that story to life through the written format, but for the others, they may want to do it through videos. Others want to host events. So I would
Mhm.
say there's no one size fits all approach. I have definitely seen a lot of interest from creators to also create in Hindi after we launched in Hindi. So even in the Creator Accelerator program, almost 35% of the participants were very excited about creating in Hindi and English both. So I saw that also growing, and also that expands the reach for your content. It creates more accessibility to reach a wider audience. In fact, a lot of creators are doing bilingual content as well. So
Yeah.
Hindi, I would say, is a lot of interest. Video definitely is seeing interest. We saw 200% growth in the number of videos that were posted as part of the Creator Accelerator program in India. So there's interest coming for different formats. Newsletters also are driving a lot of engagement. So I would say pick the one that you feel most comfortable with, try it, experiment with the others, and try to figure out what your format strategy is as you build through your content plan.
Great. Thank you, Pooja, for that answer. So we've talked about a lot about growing as a creator on LinkedIn. So what are your top three tips that you would like to share with anyone who wants to build, who wants to become consistent and build their profile further on LinkedIn?
Yeah, I would share three things that you can keep in mind. The first one is defining your why do you want to create content. And people have different objectives. Somebody is an entrepreneur building their company, and they want to build their own personal brand, and that translates into building their company's brand. And that's where they want to share insights about their industry, about their field, about their function, and so on. So I would say defining your why is important, whether it is to grow as an entrepreneur, or you want to get your next opportunity, or you're a freelancer and you want to drive leads for your business, or it could be as simple as just the joy of creating and driving value. I mean, that is also enough of a why. So defining that why is important, and what you want to get out of it, what your objective is. And once you have that, then the second one I would advise is, what's your niche? What is it that you want to be known for? It goes back to personal brand.
Yeah.
And defining a few topics that you want to consistently create on will associate your community, will help your community associate you with those topics and those areas of expertise. So I think defining that is really important, being clear about that. Though you can try a few things, and if you want to pivot to a certain area, definitely be flexible about it. But having some clarity in the beginning would be highly recommended. And the third one would be consistency, like I said. And it's not only about always posting content, but also engaging with others' posts, commenting, interacting, attending other events, and just being part of that ecosystem where you're driving value for the community through professional conversations. I would highly recommend doing that. So these would be the three things. And then definitely, I would say follow the LinkedIn for Creators page that we have on LinkedIn. We keep sharing best practices, examples of creators who've built large communities on the platform, what kind of value that they're getting, what is it that they are experiencing and learning. So feel free to follow that page, and we keep sharing constantly updates on that.
Great. You mentioned about posting consistently, and I know there's no textbook answer to how many times should you post in a day or a week. But what is the general trend that creators on LinkedIn tend to follow about when it comes to posting consistently? The
Yeah,
number
like
of.
yeah, like you said, I would say it's everybody's comfort level. What is it that, because a lot of creators that we work with are also doing full-time jobs.
Yeah,
So they decide the consistency. Though the general average that we've seen is around about 2 to 3 times a week. Though I think that varies, for everybody else. So I would say consistency doesn't mean just the number of times, but also, you know, say every week. If you're starting with once a week, then make sure that once a week you have something that you have planned for to drive value for your community. Or if it's twice a week, then you try to like keep up to that. And that's how you would drive growth as well. So I would say that is something which I would recommend. But overall, I think we recommend 2 to 3 times a week. I think that would be a good place. That would be a good place to be in.
got it, got it. So just browsing some of the questions that we have in chat. Uh, there's a question by Chayanika Gogui. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing the name wrong. Uh, is freelance content writing saturated now? Is 2022 too late to start? But I would like to generalize this question to content creation in general. We see a lot of content, like there's an overload of content on social media right now, so it can be overwhelming for people who want to start right now. So what do you suggest, Pooja? How can they start? Is 2022 too late to start?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that. I would say on the consumer side, the consumption of content has also increased. So we have, for example, in India, 92 million members on LinkedIn itself. And LinkedIn is one of our India is one of our fastest growing markets when it comes to member engagement. So on the other side of the equation, consumption is also growing. So I would recommend that no time is late to start. I
Mhm.
would say just being razor focused on what I shared, like why are you creating content, how will you go about it, how will you define your expertise and your niche and drive value for your community. And it's also not only about the numbers, right? I have a community of XYZ number of followers, but it's also the high quality engagement and the touch points that you're having. So if you keep that in mind, I would say, in fact, this is a good time to start because the ecosystem is supporting
Yeah,
it from all different areas. So I would say a good time to start is actually 2022.
got it. I hope we've answered your question. Uh, there's a question related to niche, and Chandra is asking, when we are writing content as a freelancer, do you have to write on a particular niche or should we write in any niche? So, Pooja, we talked about selecting a particular niche. I would like to add on to this question. How can one select a niche in general? Let's say I'm into social media, but I'm also a lot into pop culture. So how should I decide if I should write more about pop culture or social media?
Yeah, I would say again goes back to your why. So, for example, like Chandra shared here, right? I'm just reading his question. When we are writing content as a freelancer, do we have to write on a particular niche or should we write in any niche? So, I'm assuming, say, someone like a Chandra or someone who's a freelance content writer, they want to get assignments from brands or from clients on a variety of topics, right? That they can flex their skills and showcase their skills on. So I would say then your niche becomes that you are an excellent writer. So then how do you showcase that? That is your expertise. So niche is not always a vertical, I would say, but it can also be a horizontal. So I would encourage you to think. about that, on how it's not only a vertical, like industry based or very topical based, but it can also be a horizontal, but it's your niche, that potentially you are a content writer who can simplify complex technical concepts and make it readable and digestible for the consumer. So that's your niche, that's your expertise. So then how do you actually then bring it across through the content that you're posting on LinkedIn, whether it's examples, whether it's basically case studies, or it is tips and tricks that you use. So then that becomes your niche. So I would encourage you to think like that, instead of, I mean, if you're very clear that you are a data scientist, and you want to showcase your expertise in that vertical, then I think that's easier. So then you focus on the new technologies that are coming in that space, what are the new trends, how different companies are investing in data science and analytics and so on. So I think that is also a niche. But I would say if you're a freelance content writer, then you can define your niche, whether it's completely vertical or then it could also be horizontal.
Okay. I hope, Chandra, your questions answered. We do have a couple of questions more in chat, but we are running out of time. So, in case we didn't answer your question in this session, please feel free to connect with Pooja on LinkedIn, or just drop a message to her. And Pooja, I request you to take out some time and answer our community's questions around content creation. And this was a really fun chat. Half hour just passed by really quickly.
Yeah.
I think it's when you're talking about something you love, something you're passionate about, time just flies by.
Thank you so much, Yash. You've been a fantastic host, patiently listening to me. So thank you so much.
No, it's always, I was really looking forward to this session, because it's not every day that you meet people from the LinkedIn team itself talking about the platform. So yeah, thank you so much, Pooja. It's been a delight. Thank you so much for taking out time and doing this.
Thank you for having me, Yash.
Thank you.